The Tower of London is remembered as a place of darkness, a fortress of iron gates and whispered fears, where traitors were dragged through shadows and queens met their deaths upon cold stone. It is the prison of legends, the execution ground of imagination. But the truth of this fortress is far more complicated than the myths we inherit. The tower was not built to confine the guilty, nor were its stones soaked in the blood of hundreds. To understand the real tower, we have to push past the ghost stories and return to its birth, a moment of conquest, shock, and domination. A fortress of conquest, not confinement. The story begins in 1066, when William the Conqueror swept across England and reshaped the island forever. His victory at Hastings was decisive, but not secure. London was restless. The English elite were hostile. The country he now ruled was simmering under the weight of foreign rule. And so, William ordered the construction of a fortress unlike anything the city had ever seen. A great stone keep that would tower over the capital. The White Tower. The tower was not designed to protect the people of London. It was designed to watch them. The Norman chronicler William Fitzstephen described the city as a place overshadowed by the presence of armed knights and foreign authority. London, he wrote, lived under the unmistakable mark of occupation. And the tower was that mark, a visible, immovable symbol of Norman dominance. Its massive walls proclaimed a message. The old order was gone. Historian Mark Morris notes that this early fortress functioned less like a castle and more like a political statement. It did not merely guard the king. It intimidated his new subjects. Every stone was placed to secure the victory William had claimed on the battlefield. Inside, the tower housed royal treasure, documents, and weaponry. It served as a palace for visiting monarchs, a stronghold against rebellion, a physical reminder that England's fate lay in the hands of its new rulers. For more than a century, it was not considered a prison at all. But time transforms symbols. As centuries passed, the tower's identity began to shift. A fortress of conquest became a place of fear. A stronghold became a story. And the myths that would later define it began to take shape. Debunking the blood-stained stones. Ask most people about the tower, and they picture executions, countless victims condemned beneath stone walls. But the reality is far more restrained. In nearly 1,000 years of history, only 7 people were executed inside the tower. The vast majority met their fate outside the walls on Tower Hill, where execution served a public purpose: spectacle, deterrence, and the reassurance of royal justice. The tower's inner yard, by contrast, was reserved for rare and politically delicate cases. Anne Boleyn is the most famous of them. Her execution inside the tower in 1536 was an anomaly, an act designed to keep the spectacle contained, to bury the shame of a queen's death away from the public gaze. The French swordsman summoned to deliver the blow was chosen as much for precision as for dignity. Her death became legend, but it did not define the tower's daily purpose. John Stow's Survey of London makes this distinction clear. Tower Hill was the realm of the people. The tower grounds the realm of royalty. Justice for the crowd, silence for the crown. And then there are the princes in the tower, perhaps the most haunting mystery associated with this place. Richard, Duke of York, and his brother Edward vanished in 1483, and their disappearance has fueled speculation for centuries. In 1674, bones were discovered beneath a staircase of the White Tower, and many assumed they belonged to the missing princes. But no definitive identification has ever been made. Historian Dan Jones warns that the evidence is circumstantial at best. The boys may have died here, or elsewhere. Their bones may be theirs, or not. The tower's role in their fate remains a tangle of uncertainty, half history, half shadow. This is the strange truth of the tower. The myths of blood are louder than the facts. And as the centuries turned, new myths arose, not of violence, but of wonder. invented traditions, and rebuilt treasures. One of the most enduring legends claims that if the ravens ever leave the tower, the kingdom will fall. It is a striking image, black wings guarding England's destiny. But the superstition is Victorian, not medieval. There is no ancient law, no royal command. The ravens became part of tower lore through tourism, storytelling, and the British love of symbolic ritual. Then there was the royal menagerie. Lions, leopards, monkeys, and even a polar bear once lived within these walls. Gifts from foreign rulers, symbols of prestige, curiosities that captivated London. The polar bear was famously allowed to fish in the Thames, tethered by a long chain. It is a chapter of the tower's history that feels almost unreal. And the crown jewels? Visitors often imagine they date back to medieval glory, but almost all the original regalia was destroyed during the English Civil War. Parliament ordered it melted down, its sacred symbols shattered as a statement against monarchy. The jewels we see today are post-1660 recreations, forged for the coronation of Charles II. These layers of myth, destruction, and reinvention reveal a tower that is constantly rewriting itself, a fortress shaped not just by power, but by imagination. And still, its evolution was not finished. The living fortress, beyond the ghost stories. Modern visitors often picture the tower as a place of torture, but the historical record tells a quieter story. Devices like the rack or the scavenger's daughter were used, but only in a handful of cases. Torture was exceptional, not routine. Its legend far outgrew its reality. What is less known is that the tower has long been a home. The yeoman warders, famously known as beefeaters, live within its walls with their families. There are houses, a pub, gardens, communal rooms. Children have grown up here. Dogs have played in the courtyards. It is a fortress, yes, but also a neighborhood. Every night, the ceremony of the keys takes place, a ritual of locking the tower that has continued, uninterrupted, for centuries. War could not stop it. Plague could not stop it. Even modern crises have not halted it. The tower breathes through tradition, not fear. Historian Alice Roberts describes it as a living organism of English history, an institution inhabited, not preserved, evolving, not frozen. And yet the public imagination clings to ghosts, executions, and phantoms. We prefer the drama. But the truth is deeper, stranger, and more human. The Tower of London is not a monument to horror, but a palimpsest of English history, its surface rewritten again and again, each era adding a new layer of myth and meaning. Its power lies not in its darkest stories, but in 1,000 years of transformation. If you want to uncover the hidden truths behind England's most iconic landmarks, subscribe and join us for the next deep dive into the stories that shaped a kingdom.